I love it in the morning. I love it in the evening. I love it in the daytime, night.
Welcome everybody, this is Wargamer Shawn. I'm coming at you today to do the next Q&A section, and I'm also going to do a brief on like what's going on, what's kind of on the table right now. I just did a video. If people are subscribed to my channel know that I went to the Bug Eater. I'd been talking about it a lot. Had a lot of fun there, met some new people, especially a group from California. Well, most of them are California. One of them's in Colorado. Really nice group of guys. Kind of hung out with them afterwards, chatted with them. Just it's always good to kind of make connections and friends from people that you don't normally see. So I'm hoping to get in touch with those guys again. They were a lot of fun. My friend that went with me to Bug Eater actually got to game with all four of them during the course of the 6 games of the tournament, which was interesting. I didn't play any of them, but I chatted with them a lot. So what's going on after the Bug Eater? Our local group, I kind of volunteered to start a campaign, kind of a more narrative campaign. I put some restrictions in. So there's 4 factions. One is Imperial, which I think all of them are Space Marines. And then there's one faction that's Orcs, and I have 3 Orc players and a Dark Eldar player that I kind of fit in there, the person that wanted to play. And then I have 3 Necron players, and then I have kind of like a Traitor Imperial Guard that's playing for them, because I was trying to fit and make the teams as even as I can. And then I have 4 Chaos players. One's playing Renegades, one's playing Chaos Demons, and the other 2 are playing Chaos Space Marines. Well, I think one's playing Crimson Slaughter, but basically Chaos Space Marines. So I'm kind of excited. It'll be fun. I bought like a magnetic board, and I bought some magnetic planets, although they were bigger than I thought they were going to be, and I kind of made a solar system and kind of made a whole campaign book. And then their goal is to try to take over. There's like most planets have like 3 kind of territories. Small one has 2, one of them has 4, but their goal is to try to take over a planet. When they take over a whole planet, they get some bonuses towards their army that they're playing. And then also they can get up to 5 levels of experience, and there's a chart they roll on, so each unit can gain experience through the course of the campaign. I'm not going to have, forces and units and independent characters can die, but I'm not going to do it where you have to build up or score so many points or money to like buy units back. I don't want people to kind of get burned and then be out of it. The only caveat is if something's destroyed, they're starting over with another unit, so it doesn't have any experience. I just want it to be fun for everybody. It's kind of meant to be more of a narrative. The goal is to see whoever can take over the system, or as much of the system, until the campaign ends, or people lose interest. The goal is to kind of play every couple weeks, so if people can't come on the normal open game night, they can set up a time to do it at a different time. So hopefully that'll work for everybody. I'm excited. I'm hoping that it's fun and it works out for everybody. It's neat, the factions. There's no Eldar. There's 1 Dark Eldar player, but no Eldar. There's a Necron faction, although what I'm doing is I'm limiting people. They have to run a CAD only, no formations, no special detachments. So they'll kind of eliminate the 4-up feel no pain, except unless they're running a Cryptek. And that'll kind of help, because I want it to try to be fair for everybody, and everybody kind of be as much as on an even plane or playing field as possible, as much as 40K allows that. So I think it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. I'm excited about it. Hopefully the people that are playing it are excited too. So that's one thing I'm doing. The other thing, somebody had ordered for me at Adepticon, and it just came in from Forge World, but the new Age of Darkness Legion. So I've been kind of reading some of that. I'm kind of waiting for my Thousand Suns to kind of really get into 30K, so I haven't done a lot with it, but been kind of doing more reading up on it and stuff. I haven't really started building the army yet, because I'm kind of waiting to see what do I need to build for the Thousand Suns. I have gotten some things, and I've gotten a Thousand Suns Dreadnought, and I have some of the older, or well, the original kind of pattern Dreadnoughts that I'm actually going to try to cast and mold the head that got the Forge World one to try to make the head for the other Contemptor Dreadnoughts so they all kind of match, because I bought those before the Thousand Suns ones came out. So hopefully I can make them all look good. The other thing on the table, I'm still going to work on some more wolves right now, space wolves, and I was trying to think about what my next project was going to be. I'm thinking about making up, and you can see these are what's the name of the company? Victorian Miniatures, I think, and they're female guard, but they're not scantily clad. They're kind of just look like normal soldiers, but they're females. This is a metal bit. It's a Space Marine plasma gun. So I might have to do something with the hand, because that one hand is freakishly big compared to the other one. But I'm trying to make kind of an all-female Imperial Guard or Astra Militarum kind of force, and the kind of hypothesis behind that is this is going to be on Ophelia 7, where my sisters of the Order of the Valorous Heart is where their kind of temple place is, and so the ones that kind of fail out of the Adeptus Sororitas kind of go into the Imperial Guard, and there's like an overabundance of like females on the planet. The rest of the males are kind of going and doing either something else or going into the ministry or priesthood. So there will be some males as like priests on the battlefield, but I'm kind of excited. It'll be kind of like kind of both. It'll go with my Sisters of Battle army, and I'm kind of excited to kind of get my guard out and get going on that again. So that's kind of my next project after I finish the Space Wolves. I might not finish the Space Wolves completely. I have a tendency to get bored with armies, and then I switch over to something else. So I got an 1850 point list that's painted and ready to go, and so I'm going to do some other things. I want to get some of my Thunderwolves and Wolfen done, but I don't know if I'll get everything with my Space Wolves done or repainted again, because to be honest, that's just kind of the way I am. Unless a tournament tends to kind of push me that way. Although I will say, for ITC, I'm in the number, like I'm in the high spot for the Space Wolves, so I'm trying to kind of, I might continue to play Space Wolves at tournaments to try to do well with them for the ITC, but we'll see. I don't, I doubt I would be able to win it regardless anyway, so I don't go into enough major GTs or GTs to, do as well as some of the other people that are doing it more just because of a career and family. It's hard for me to do that, but we'll see. So that's kind of what's on the table. I've also been reading the new like the trilogy for Ahriman. That book came out. I've been reading some of that. I don't know how fast I'm going to get through it. There's some of the new like smaller kind of larger print hard books series that have come out, and I've started reading some of those too for 40K. So probably read some of those. Other than that, besides work, not much else is going on. I'm going to try to get some more battle reports up on the channel and on here, and do some other reviews and stuff. But since I got back from Bug Eater on Monday, I haven't been doing more family and work stuff, trying to catch up on that, than I have really gaming stuff at this point. So, except for I did do some stuff for the campaign that's starting next week. So anyway, let's go on to the Q&A. Let me pull up the questions. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, guys. The first one is from Commissar Gamza, our beloved leader here for the Legion of Gamza, which I'm a member of, which is a great group of guys. Check them out. You can check out on. We have a Facebook page. It's Legion of Gamza, and you can check that out. And it does list all the Legion of Gamza members. And I would highly recommend checking out a lot of the channels because they're just a great group of guys. All of them, and well worth subbing to. But so the first question is Commissar Gamza. He said, I agree with the Sisters of Battle. Not only do they need an actual codex, they need plastic miniatures, which I was talking about last time in the last Q&A, and I do agree. I think people, I think GW doesn't think enough people it would sell enough, but I honestly think if it had a codex and plastic models, I've talked to so many people because I play Sisters myself, and I have an army, and I have a lot of metal ones, but I've had so many people like, oh, Sisters of Battle, cool, like I wish they had plastic models, I would still get into it. So I think GW would sell them if they actually did. I really do think they would. But his question for me is, if a tech priest gave you the option to upgrade your party with one upgrade, would you take it, and what would it be? And he said that his question was an error. He meant to say upgrade your body, not party. I've always and I was born with a kind of a poor sense of smell. So if I could do it in a way where it wouldn't look hideous, like this weird metal nose or something like that, if they could do something to upgrade my sense of smell, that'd be cool. Although maybe eyesight, fix my eyesight. It's a tough one. But probably smell and then eyes, I guess, if I had a choice, as long as I didn't look horrendous. But unfortunately, you kind of notice in the 40k universe, they don't really care about look so much. They're more about purpose and functionality. So I'd probably do something, maybe a cyber eye, so it would kind of look, I could look badass, because guys could, kind of look, I'm sure people would still go, oh my god, what the heck is this freak doing with this weird eye? But it might look a little better than a metal nose coming out. Anyway, thanks for your question, Commissar Gamza. Next one is from Grawley's Lair. He says, cool Q&A, bud. Question, would you use the new Death from the Skies as a standalone game, a bit like Kill Team, where it's a dogfight battle with just flyers? Could you see the format working better? It's a good question. I think as time moves on, it's just going to be part of the game, and people get used to it. The thing is, I still don't see. There's some cool upgrades with some of the flyers, and I see some people potentially running some of the wings or the new wing formations and doing some things. But honestly, a lot of the flyers from a lot of the armies, since they can't hover, I don't think they're still necessarily that great for the army. And I think Tau, if flyers do become more popular and powerful again, I think you're going to see a lot more Tau again, which will kind of bring down flyers again. So the dogfight rule is kind of a pain in the butt, and I keep forgetting. I need to do a video kind of showing the phase for that, but I think once we get used to it, it'll be okay. But once again, I don't think we're gonna see it honestly that much. People have kind of ignored it right now. Like the Bug Eater just said, "Hey, it's too new. We're not doing it. Forget it." But I think as the GTs go along, we have to accept it, and we just have to start using them, especially the rules. So I think it's here to stay. I think it's going. I would kind of like to have just seen not have that dogfight phase, or if something, maybe just some kind of like dice roll and then modifiers depending on the type of flyer instead of the dogfight, because it's just going to add more to the game. But unfortunately, it's here to stay, and I think as far as tournaments go, I think we're going to see that incorporated as part of the game. I think it's going to take a little bit of a trickle down for like the beer and pretzel gamer to kind of start using it and accepting it. I think initially they were just like, let's just skip the dog phase. Fight phase is just weird, and they're going to ignore it. But I think eventually, as it gets more common and it starts kind of trickling down into the normal weekly games or pickup games, I think people are just going to get used to it. But good question. Um, let's see. Jason Pryor said, "Nice one." He just kind of asked me for, uh, we had kind of been chatting. I sent him a little care package a little while back. He didn't ask a question. So sorry. I'm gonna go to the next one here. Tabletop banter. I'm thinking it's Callum. Well, who's in Spain right now, so have fun, buddy. Hope you're having fun. It's probably warmer there than it is here. Although when I was in Omaha this weekend, consistently Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, it was over 100 degrees, and it was just humid and disgusting, and it was miserable. So I'm fine with maybe in the 80s. Sorry, the Fahrenheit. I don't know how that converts to Celsius. Because we're Americans and we can't possibly do Celsius, even though the rest of the world does, because we're Americans. Right, Commissar Gamza? America. Sorry. It's an inside, kind of an inside joke. Anyway, so Tabletop Banner says, thanks for answering the question. I agree on the ending of the traditional codex, and I would have loved to have all the books, but college student. My question for this week is, if you could change the fluff of one army you collect, what would you change and why? I mean, fluff has kind of changed through the years. Everybody thinks it doesn't, but it has. Honestly, I think if I could change any of them, I guess I would change it back to kind of more the way it was. I like the older Necron fluff before the way it is now. I kind of understand why they changed it, because you had the Satan, and then everybody else is kind of a mindless idiot, and you could really only have one Satan on a battlefield at one time, because they would kill each other. And there was only two. There was the Deceiver and Nightbringer, and they could never be on the same. You couldn't field them together because they'd kill each other. So the old fluff kind of made it more limited because everybody else was mindless, and so I get why they changed it. They wanted to have characters like, they wanted the Cryptex and the Overlords and the Lords in there to have character and be able to kind of be in novels and that sort of thing. So I get kind of why they changed it. It just irks me so much when you do such a dramatic change to the fluff. So that one I'd probably pick more than anything. I mean, other things have changed through the years. I mean, orcs used to reproduce sexually instead of the little spores, molds, funguses thing. I mean, their food and squigs kind of came along with them wherever they went, and they would grow molds and funguses, but they didn't like spring out from the ground like they do now. I'm not super keen on that, but I guess it's their way to kind of differentiate fantasy orcs from the space orcs, because they're not space orcs anymore, they're orcs with a K. And Eldar, at one time in Rogue Trader, if you go back and look at it, they talk about that there's hybrids of humans and space elves, Eldar, where they could breed together and produce hybrids. Now, they say, the Eldar breed multiple times and to make the fetus over time, so they're not the same species, they're not even close. So they've kind of separated things as time's gone on with all of the armies. I mean, they've changed a lot of things. I mean, the Blood Angels originally in the second edition fluff, the chalice that they carry around, how they transferred the gene seed to each other is they would drink, the initiates would drink blood. Some of them wouldn't survive, some of them would, and that's kind of how they got infected with the virus that kind of made the gene seed and the glands and stuff like that. That's changed. That's not done. It's not that way anymore, but that's how it initially was. To me, it was like they're freaking vampires, that's why I won't play Blood Angels. But because I don't like vampires. Anyway, I mean, so fluff's changed over the years. I mentioned in a previous video that the Emperor, originally there was no Horus Heresy. He kind of retired from active duty. He got older and ended up being interred on the Golden Throne. And then later on, he, Horus was just his kind of war master, but he wasn't. There was no Primarch. He wasn't the Primarch. He was just the war master that betrayed him and got corrupted by chaos. So things developed over time. People always think, oh, it always started that way. It was always a Primarch. I mean, the Lunar Wolves and Horus was never mentioned in Rogue Trader at all. And as a matter of fact, some of the, like founding chapters are not even in Rogue Trader at all. As a matter of fact, like one of the, the original chapters, one of them that became kind of like a second founding, was like the Flesh Terrors and stuff like that were listed, as one of the primary chapters in the original one. And they became a second founding later on. Same thing, Crimson Fists were in the original codex. They're on the cover of Rogue Trader, and the orcs are surrounding them, destroying them, and that later became a story with, Pedro Cantor and then the Eldar kind of helping save them. But, that didn't exist back then. So things have changed. Sorry, I got way off on a tangent there. Let's see. Idic Beer is the next one. He says, sounds like a trip to the UK is well overdue. I had said that I haven't been on vacation since like 2006. It's been a while. Although I just kind of had a mini break, not with my family though, this weekend. He said, I think you mentioned at some point that you're a tall guy. How tall are you exactly? I'm 6'4", so pretty tall. Thanks for the question. Tattoo for you, Richard, my man. He said he would definitely love to kick it with me. I said something in one of the videos. I'd love to hang out with him. He just seems like a cool guy to hang out with. So check out his channel. If you could move anywhere in the country, where would it be? And it doesn't have to be Texas. I'm laughing out loud because he's from Texas. If I could move anywhere in the country, where would it be? I guess, it's now, if I didn't have to worry about family and my family would just pick up and move with me and not care. Obviously that's not the case now, but I like the state that I live in right now. I like Wisconsin, except for I'm not too keen on our governor. But I often thought if I didn't live in Wisconsin, where else would I live? And I think Western, and it probably sounds boring to some people because they're thinking, why would you pick that? But I've always kind of liked Western South Dakota, like the Black Hills area. I found very beautiful. At least for me, I like it. I've been to California. I've gotten to Colorado, and places like that are beautiful. That's another place to me that kind of called to my heart and said, hey, this would be home for you. Another place that I personally like, I don't think my wife and family would be happy there. I've spent time in Alaska, and I find it very beautiful. It's a very beautiful state. Obviously, in the wintertime, it's very miserable, and there's a lot of, during the summertime, it's daylight, all the time. It'll be 2 o'clock in the morning, and it'll look like high noon, and in the wintertime, there's, very few hours of light and dark a lot. So it's that's a little hard to deal with too. Hope that answers your question. And it looks like that is all my questions that I have. So I'll kind of end it here. It's probably a little longer than you guys would like to have already anyway. But basically just kind of want to let you guys know what's going on. I wanted to do the next Q&A because it's been about a month. Hopefully you guys are all doing fine. Hopefully you enjoy the video. If you do, and if you haven't, you can click like, and I would it'd be great if you wanted to subscribe if you're not a subscriber, if you enjoy the video. I'm gonna have more stuff coming out soon. Sorry I haven't done a lot in the last week just because of Bug Eater and kind of getting ready for that. But until next time, guys, keep on wargaming and have fun. Take care.
Goodbye, you sexy motherfucker.